Good morning, people. I wanted to show you a little bit of what I found out. Sometimes when you are doing supports, like in this case, you want to support the top and the bottom, like here. Like I have this area here. Let me see if I can zoom out a bit, make it easier to see. So in the slicer, I want there to be support interface patterns on the bottom here, and as well I want the support interface to be on the top. The problem is when you want to paint these supports, like I have here, I painted supports on the top, but I don't want it to start down on the wall. So if I slice this, it becomes like this. So basically you get this area here with the triangles that doesn't have support interface, which means that it will basically adhere with normal filament to the other filament, but trying to not give so much. So in this video I'm going to show you how to remove these so that you only get supports on the support interface placements instead. So basically you prevent this from happening, so you don't get this overlapping supports here. So first of all, we need to look into the specific object. In this case it's a filament guide, and if you look here you can see that the supports themselves have a certain direction that they are being printed. So in this case there are some parts here I do not want to paint, so I will prevent supports there. So let's just go in and see what that is. So I am here. It looks like there is some kind of cavity inside the model. That shouldn't be, but let's handle it and see. So I'll go in here and I'll just select the object there, and let's just see a little bit how it goes. It's still nothing. So there seems to be an overhang here, so I'll just make sure there are no okay. So here seems to be supports. Let's see, I'll try and go back. 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 7, 8, 9, and then we get to 50. So this is the top. Okay, so what it normally would see is the bottom sides here. Okay. So basically it will try to put supports at the bottom of the placement here. Let's see if I can prevent that. There. Then I'll just go in from the top, select it again, and then we go into the section here, and I can just use this, decrease it a bit. there. So let's see here. Okay. So basically it's at the bottom. So when we preview this in the slicer, you get support interfaces at the bottom and the top. And if you scroll in, it will look like this. By default now you can see you get these triangles. Those are the ones we're gonna get rid of. You see those triangles start quite far down because they will support the wall on top. Let's see if we can find the first layer. So this is the first layer. In the middle there is first layer of the tunnel that goes through the object. You see here it will try to support the middle of the tunnel by putting support interface layers, and then it will place supports on top of that. And then it will grow, and eventually it will also make supports on the sides. So the first thing we need to address is the direction, because currently it's going to be difficult to remove the support since they are like really sideways. And you do that by going into the object itself here, and then you go down to supports on that object after you select it, and then you find pattern angle under advanced settings. This is an Orca Slicer. It should be similar in Bambu Studio. And then you can twist this. Let's say you want to do 15 degrees, and then you reslice it. So the goal is to make it go more or less straight out to the sides, so you can get with a plier in between to just easily remove it. There. Let's see if we can just set it to 0 and see what it ends up as. So 0 would be the best here, because then you get the supports going perfectly straight outwards. Now the reason that you are getting these on the side is because the distance between the support lines is too big. I have set this to 2 millimeter, and because it's 2 millimeter it also goes the other way. So if you change that to 0.1, you will see what happens. See, now you have no more supports on the outside, and the inside is also following the support interface a little bit better. So let's see how this looks like now. So you get up here, you can see it's drawing the support lines on the interfaces themselves, and then you get to the top, and you can see that it is taking a certain distance from that. We can try and reduce that, set it to 0.10, because I'm printing with a 0.2 nozzle now. So support XY distance, I reduced that from 0.15 to 0.10. So it gets a little bit closer to the sides here. Not so much to the outside. And we can see when we get closer up here, then you put one layer, and then you have the support lines here will look like this, and it will only cover the area that you want to support. Let's see how big we can get it before we get to the outside, because it's easier to remove them. The bigger the spaces between them, is easier to remove them. So let's try with 0.2 millimeters. You see also it now moves the supported interface a little bit to the side. Let's see from the top here how it looks like. Okay, it's not so bad. Let's try with 0.3. our main goal here is to have as wide lines as possible, as wide distance between the lines so it's easy to remove, but to prevent it from sagging over to the outside. So 0.3 works. 0.4, let's try that. Okay. So now you can see 0.4, then it's perfectly flush with the support interface itself. Let's take a look on the other side of the model, because it may go outside there. Still looks pretty okay on that side. So let's look straight down on the top. I think that looks pretty great. So let's say 0.5 just to check if it starts going outside or not. Could be that 0.5 is okay as well. .5 works as well. Still not oozing out on the edges. Let's see. Nothing there. And let's see. How is it like inside? You have to remember the XY distance down here. That also goes against the wall here. So let's try and put that up a little bit to 0.2, because I don't want it to get stuck in the wall inside. So if you look here, yeah. I think that looks pretty. Okay, so we are at 0.5 pattern spacing now, and the pattern is looking okay. It's not oozing out on the sides. So let's say look at the supports. Supports are going up nicely, and then you get interface layers. The interface layers seems to be oozing out a little bit on the side. Let's see if we can prevent that by going down a little bit for. And voila. Now you don't have the interface layers going on the outside as well. So the sweet spot there is 0.4, and I'm using a 0.2 nozzle now. And when you print now, it will basically go up to this, and it covers it, and you get the interface layers. But you also have some oozing on the other side here. Let's see if we can reduce it a little bit more. Reduce it to 3, because you see here it oozes out on the other side. You want to prevent that, because you don't want interface layers on spaces where there is not supposed to be some, but because then it will be printing me there. Okay, we still have a little bit here. Let's say 0.25 millimeters, and see if it removes then. It's just tiny bit. Perfect. Is there anything on the other side now? It's not easy to see. Okay, there is a little bit on the other side. Let's take it even down to 2 then. Slice. To 15. This would be dependent on your nozzle size, your line width, your line height, and yeah. Okay, so there's nothing on that side. And how about the other side? Nothing on the outside, and nothing on the outside here. So that would be the perfect sweet spot for this specific print profile. Is basically you align it so it only covers the area that you want to print, and you avoid it printing in any other areas. So the way to remove this support would be to go in the middle here, and then you take a plier and you squash the supports sideways like this, and then you try to just squash it and you twist it. That would usually bring it loose. If you want to be even more careful, you can try to wedge loose the supports from the PET-G, but here I'm using PET-G as support interfaces, and then you can try and remove it like that. You need to keep in mind there is a little bit of support at the bottom here. So if you go down here, you will see you have the first layer here, and then you have a little bit of support material at the bottom here, and you should be able to remove that nicely as well, but it's just keep that in mind when you remove the sides, that it is there. If you have a very long tool, you might, like in this case, you might be able to go in from this side through the tube and just, you know, gently push the support interface layers out of alignment of the print, so you get them loose first. That might actually help it get loose. So, but yeah, removing supports can sometimes be difficult, but in this case I think it would be okay. But yeah, you can see it's pretty nice structures for the supports now, and you will basically only get interface layers and interfaces where you actually want them to be. So I hope that video helped you in creating better supports, and if you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe. I'm sorry I haven't made so many videos lately. I am working on a bigger project which I will release soon. I hope soon. I have work, so I need to do it in between work, between household chores, babysitting, being a dad, you know, everything like that. So this is a very good hobby for me. I like to show you guys videos when I figure out new stuff, and when I find out stuff like this, it makes me happy because it makes my prints so much better. So yeah. Oh, what is this? I just realized I have a tiny bit of PET-G there on the side. I have no idea why there's there. Let's see if we can bring it down to 10. If it's removed, then yeah, now it's removed. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.